yeah, it's recording now.
Okay, okay. So that's one, Mid Zippy, right? The second one, which you may or may not be interested in, is called StreamYard.com. Are you familiar with that? STREAM. Sean, by the way, I'm a technophobe. I'm just showing off here, mate. Don't worry. Okay, StreamYard.com. Okay. Now, the thing I like about this is you can use this. There's a free version, and there's one. It's about I don't know, $10 a month or something, whatever. Okay. But the beauty of this is this: if you're doing you can stream using this, going straight into Facebook Live or straight into YouTube, whatever you want. If you go into Facebook Live, for example, and people are giving comments, then you can put their comment up on the screen, including their photograph, and that really does increase the engagement level, because people like to see their photo when they comment on the screen in big print. You see what I'm getting at? And you can decide that. Yeah. Plus, you can also put up there whatever you want. You can put links on there where you want to send them to and all this sort of stuff. So I just thought it might be of interest to you, StreamYard.com. All right?
Yeah, check it out. Nice one.
Okay.
Super. Cool. So I think it's just going to be us four and David Kane joining us shortly.
All right. Well, now, Josh, did you get my email?
No, I haven't checked. When did you send it?
Oh, you were probably still asleep. The last time I saw you had all these bottles sitting in front of you lying on the couch. A couple of hours ago. Oh, look, the bottom line is I saw your updated version, and I think it's pretty darn good, all right? Okay, I don't have an issue with that at all, okay? And the content you've got done is pretty good as well. But what I wanted to focus on, really, I mean, the 30-day objective we're setting for people, okay, is fine, but really what we should be looking at, and especially you, Josh, and Mike in particular, but I'm asking everyone to do this, and that is to look at the behaviors that are required in order to achieve the objectives that you're setting. So what I'm getting at is this: the smart way, and because what we're aiming at doing is creating a world-class sales culture. That's the whole purpose of this series of training programs, right? And the bottom line is this: if you manage the behaviors, not the results, you will get the results you want. If you're managing the results, it's too darn late. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you mean? What do you mean by behaviors exactly? Could you be more specific?
What a wonderful question, Michael. And of course, I can be very specific. Can I share my screen?
Of course, please do.
I'm going to put these things up in Dropbox for you. Sean, by the way, I'll add you. I need your email address so I can add you to Dropbox. So bear with me, Tig. We'll let that one go. Okay. There's three things I'm putting up in Dropbox for you. One is called what your prospect is thinking. The second one is simple sales management, which I'm going to answer your question with that, Michael. And the third one is called creating a world-class sales process, right? Now, in terms of the behaviors, let me just move this over here out of the road. Can you all see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to go through details here, but what I'm simply saying is this. Key point is manage behaviors, not results. In other words, let's look at what people need to do. No, hang on. I'll stop. I'll come back to that. Let me do this for you. Have you got a pen and paper there? Let's try this. What I'd like you to do is put down, and Sean, I don't know anything about you at all, so just bear with me on this, but hang in there with me, all right? What I want you to put down now, write down your annual income goal from your business. Yeah, don't share it with me. This is just private to you. What's your annual income goal? Okay. Secondly, what's the average sale size you would get? And let's assume you're getting 100% commission, just to keep the numbers easy, right? What would be your average sale size? Okay. Then think about this. You now know what your income objective is, and you know what the average sale size is. So how many sales do you have to generate in a year to achieve your income? Now, so this is really high-class mathematics, right? You're dividing your annual income goal by the size of your average sale, right? And you've come up with a figure, okay, whatever it is, okay? Then, we're nearly there. This is pretty simple maths, but it's powerful. Then the next one is this. What is your closing ratio, your closing percentage? In other words, if you can close, Sean, let me talk with you, since you're new here. If you can close one person in every 5 that you speak to, that means you've got a 20% conversion figure. Make sense? If you can close 1 in 4, it's 25, 1 in 3, it's 30, whatever it is. So what is your, if you're not sure, put out an example for yourself, because you need to come up with these figures later. Let's put out, what is your average conversion percentage? And if you're not sure, give yourself 1 in 5, or 20%, for example, right? Okay. Now, here's where we're getting to your question, Michael, in terms of the behaviors, right? What we're now going to do is this. Let's work out how many discovery calls. Oh, Sean, do you understand what I mean by discovery call? It's how many first calls, first sales conversations you have with new prospects, right? How many first sales conversations would you need to have in order to achieve that income goal of yours? Now, how do you do that? Pretty simple. You know how many sales you've got, right? So let's assume, I mean, let me give you an example. Let's say you needed, I don't know, 40 sales, right? And you've got a conversion rate of 20%. In other words, you would need to have 200 calls, 200 initial calls, 5 times 40, correct? 200 calls in a year in order to achieve your income goal. Does that make sense, Michael? Or am I losing you with the maths? No, you're muted.
It does make sense, yeah. Just repeat the last bit.
Okay. I gave you an example. Let's assume for whatever, you needed to make 40 sales a year. Okay. Okay. And if your closing rate was 20%, that's 1 in 5, right? So the number of calls you'd have to make would be 5 times 40, which is 200. If you had 200 calls and you closed 1 in 5, there's your 40 sales. Does that make sense?
I've got it now. I've got it now.
So you've got 200 sales in a year, and let's assume for the sake of simplicity, okay, and only simplicity, you work 50 weeks a year. That means you'd need to have how many calls a week? If it was 200, you'd need 4 calls a week, almost 1 every day. Does that make sense? So this is a long-winded answer to your question, Michael, but this is important. What you need to do is you set people like Sean, his objectives for his first 30 days working with the CEO movement. But what you do is you manage his behaviors. And these behaviors are the actions he needs to take on a daily basis in order to achieve the outcome that he wants. All right? And the actions he needs to do on a daily basis include things such as the number of calls he's got to make. So you need to manage the number of calls. So each week, when you're talking to Sean, the first question I'll be asking is, how many calls you've had this week, Sean? How are we doing? On average, you need, to achieve your objective, you need X calls. How many have you made so far? Boom. All right. Does that make sense? Now, let me give you an extreme example to prove a point to you. Let's assume that you wanted to make 50,000. okay? But also let's assume that the average earnings you made per sale, average sale size is $100. Now I'm thinking of the CEO movement, all right? How much does it cost to join again? In
59.
US dollar?
Oh, 79.
$79, right? Okay. Now, okay. But I'm gonna roll it up to 100 to make it simple maths, right? Let's say you made $100 a sale, and you wanted $50,000 a year earnings. That means you'd need 5,000 sales a year to achieve that. If you were selling at $100 a sale, right? Now, let's also assume that you had a closing ratio of 20%, 1 in 5. In order to get that 5,000 sales, you need to be talking to 25,000 people in a year, right? Or 500 in a week. Now, I think that would be what you call verging on ridiculous, right? Make sense? But it also is I'm making the point to you is because this is the reason why when you're talking to new recruits, okay, that you need to get them to understand the reason why they need to involve in their portfolio higher level products in terms of the products they can sell, not just CEO. It's an entree to giving Enagic an option later on. Does that make sense? Because you're actually hitting them right between the eyes. If you just want to stick on the, $100 a sale, fine. But I mean, in order to get what you want, and you just told me you wanted 50,000, Sean, right? If you wanted 50,000, then you're going to have 500 calls a week. Good luck. What time are you getting up in the morning? 3 o'clock? Okay. And I hope you can work 15 hours a day for the rest of your life, etc. Right? So that's a long-winded answer to your question, Michael, but can you see what I'm getting at? You need to manage behaviors. All right? Make sense? Now, let me go back and share my screen again. Here's a few other things I've put down in terms of behaviors, okay? One is role-playing. Now, a lot of people don't like role playing because, and that's understandable because they could lose face, as I've said there, right? But the sad thing is this: when they're under pressure in the sales marketplace, people tend to revert back to what they're used to doing, and what they're used to doing is not necessarily the best option. All right, and the only way to break that habit is to create a new habit, and the way to do that is by role playing with you. If you brought a new recruit into the business, you need to work with them to build up their memory muscle in terms of how to do it. And I'm just saying this to you. Look at this. People retain 20% of what they hear, okay? At best for say 24 hours. They will retain 30% of what they see, but they will retain 90% of what they themselves say and they do. And Sean, my apologies for this, but I will give you access to Dropbox. You can check some of this out. In previous sessions, we've talked about the best way to help people and to train people. And when you bring new recruits into your business, okay, you need to follow a thing called tell, show, try, do. Can you remember we were talking about that, Josh and Michael? Okay, tell, show, try, and do. That is a teaching strategy, all right? Now, by the way, this is, Joshua, you all smile at this. I mean, I'm talking to a Facebook Messenger marketer, and to me, I mean, what I know about Facebook bots, you can bite me in the butt with. I have really not too much knowledge of them. But in the last week, in order to catch up with Joshua, I've been training myself how to make Facebook Messenger bots work, okay? Because I needed to upgrade my understanding and knowledge to work with you people in what you're doing, because that's a significant aspect of your business. So what I did, I created a Facebook post. It's called Storytelling Secrets, and you'll get a direct link in the PDF anyway there. But what I also did is that I use it as a prospecting tool. In other words, I use ManyChat, by the way, because Joshua, you recommended me to do it, right? So I used ManyChat, and after many hours of trying to work out what this stuff's all about, I finally worked out how I can actually create a post in Facebook, okay, whether it's a Facebook Live post or some other post, create a post in Facebook, and then by designating a specific comment that I asked them to leave on the post, this is all old-fashioned to you, but it's all new to me, right? By leaving a specific comment on the post, I can direct them using the ManyChat bot to, one, get the content they want, and secondly, join my Facebook Messenger list. And in 24 hours, I picked up 175 new people by simply doing this, okay? Now, I don't know whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, but that's what I found. So that is an example of storytelling secrets and how I did it. And I mentioned there as a prospecting tool because here is the next bit. For all new people, including you, Sean, and Peter, hello, good to see you. Good to see you. For all new people, it's essential to make sure you fill their pipeline with prospects. So here's another aspect, Michael, to help your question. What is another behavior you need to be managing carefully? Is this: how many unique conversations, right, do you need to reach your goal? Remember I just mentioned that to you before? Okay, how many per month, how many per day? Now, see that, watch this video, your essential sales statistics. That will take you through what I took you through. It'll give it to you in more detail, all right? Because the point is this, look at the next bit. Most people know what their sales revenue goals are, but it's critical to reverse engineer the sales process and uncover exactly what needs to be happening at each stage to reach their revenue goals. In other words, you can't control how many prospects are going to say yes or no to you. You may get a 20% conversion, you may get a 25%, you may get a 10% conversion, but you can control how many discovery calls you need to be making. And I'm emphasizing this because it's a behavior we need to make sure everyone in your team is looking at. So here is 3 key steps for an effective prospecting plan. 1, what is the number of discovery calls required to reach the target? Okay, which I just walked you through an exercise before. 2, what are your top 5 prospecting methods? Is it networking? Is it Facebook ads? Is it referral? Whatever it is, okay? What are your top 5 prospecting methods? And then 3, this is the magic step, okay? Take the number of discovery calls that you need and then assign each of them to the top 5 prospecting sources. These are your key lead sources, okay? So for example, let's say you had Facebook ads, you had networking, you had referral. That's those 3, for example. And let's say you needed to make 10 discovery calls a week, for example. Or make it easy, 5, 1 a day. 5 discovery calls a week, right? Of those 5, how many should you get from Facebook ads? How many should you get from networking? How many from referrals? You do that yourself, and then the person who recruited you into the business will help you because you track it. And the first thing, Michael, I'd be doing if I was in your shoes is, excuse my ignorance here, Sean, are you part of Michael's team? And it fits in there, and okay. So I would be asking Sean, tell me something, how are you going with the prospecting? Okay, how many calls did you make? How many did you get from Facebook ads this week, from referrals, from whatever it is? You need to do this, all right? Does that make sense, or am I going too fast? All right. Next, accountability is important. When you and your new recruits know the number of discovery calls required per day and per week, and know the top 5 prospecting sources, and you know the goal for the leads for each source, then you hold yourself and you hold your new recruit accountable to achieving this right from the start. It's too late if you leave it a few months. Manage them right from the start. These are the behaviors that you need to be managing, okay? The number of calls they're making in particular. So you set up a behavior plan, to make sure people know what they have to do every day in order to achieve the 30-day outcome that Josh has so cleverly put together. What are the behaviors they need to do in order to achieve that outcome? Does that make sense? Okay. Next, here this might disturb you a fraction, and I'm going to come back to you. Let me just go through this quickly. You may find this disturbing and distressing, but it's the truth. And if you really are honest with yourself and you look back at how you have treated salespeople in the past, you just may find there's an element of truth in it as well. This is what prospects are thinking. Firstly, prospects play their cards very close to their vest, okay? They don't necessarily tell you what's really going on, okay? They're not trying to mislead you because they're bad people, but they do so out of self-preservation. Secondly, the prospect wants to know what you know, okay? And most of the time they want it for free, okay? Because the prospect assumes that you somehow have the capacity to improve their productivity and lower their costs, and the more they can get out of you for free, the better it is. And Sean, I'm not trying to be negative here. I'm just trying to put in place some thinking that you need to be aware of when you are selling your CEO options, all right? I'm not going to go through every word. Thirdly, because I'm going to put this in Dropbox. Thirdly, the prospect commits to nothing. Very important. Even after the prospect obtains the pricing information they want, they're probably not through with you even then, because they'll probably try and mislead you. They might say, look, I'd like to think about this. I want to get back to you, or whatever it is, some excuse. What they are often doing, to be quite frank with you, is finding out how much you charge, and then they go to another person and sell you against them in terms of which is the best option. I mean, it's a pretty cynical and skeptical world out there, but just be aware of it. Step 4, the prospect disappears. All of a sudden, you find yourself held at bay by voicemail or email or messenger. I mean, essentially, your connection has been severed. You don't know it yet because no one's bothered to tell you. Meanwhile, you continue to follow through on all your efforts, right? After they've been through the presentation and you're thinking, yeah, they're going to be a good possibility for me. But the deal's been dead for quite some time. You just haven't admitted it to yourself yet because you've already invested so much time and effort and money in chasing this phantom, right? But it's a fact of life. If you don't have an effective selling system of your own, then the prospect will take the lead in the buyer-seller dance. In other words, to win at sales, the majority of time, you must employ a selling system that is more powerful than your prospects. Because I just shared with you, this is the prospects, I call it here, what is your prospect thinking? I could even have called it the prospect buying system or the prospect sales system. This is what they do to try and beat you at your game. Does that make sense? Anyway, that's in the Dropbox. It'll be in the Dropbox. Enough. Hey, David, good to see you. Okay, nice to join. All right, I'm going to stop for a moment. Questions?
I've got a couple. I really like that, and I think managing their behaviours is like really important, especially because then they know what to do as well, because most people won't know. Do you think that's important to do? Like, so the way I structured that 30-day plan is that after a week, they have like, the first week is basically setting the foundations of like learning how to speak to people, knowing what they've actually got to do, getting a bit of content. And then after that week, they get a call scheduled with one of the advisors, who for now will be me or Michael, but in the future will be the others on this call. Would it be better in that after that first week to then say like, right, here are your behaviors for the upcoming week, rather than just doing it straight off before they even start?
The bottom line is this. You're referring to this, okay, which you just sent me, okay? This is your 30-day plan. These are outcomes that you're looking for people, right? These are outcomes and steps to take. All I'm saying is you can fit the behaviors in at any time. And the key behavior really is the action they're taking. Okay? In other words, if Sean was new on my team and he shared with me, for example, that he wanted to earn 100,000 this year, or 120, okay? People love this 10,000 a month business, right? If you want to earn 120,000 a year, I'd be saying, Sean, tell me how you're going to do that. Let's work this out, okay? So, and you go down to identify the number of calls you've got to make, or all that sort of stuff. Then all I would do then, Sean, is manage your behavior. I would manage what you told me you need to do. And right now, you need to be managing yourself as well, to be honorable, because Michael will be following you up anyway. So to answer your question, Josh, you don't need to incorporate the behaviors into this document. Just be aware of it. Just be aware that you need, in order to help people get this outcome, you need to be managing what they're doing on a daily basis, both in terms of the behaviors and in terms of the stuff they're being exposed to and learning.
Okay. And
all right?
For the, because I obviously do discovery calls. I know Michael does. I know a few other people do. But there's not actually any training on that. So for new people, do you think it's just more important to track behaviors like number of leads gained, number of conversations had, number of web class invites, because a number of three-way group? Yeah, okay, cool. Thought so, yeah. And then we'll bring, yeah, cool.
And then what you need to be able to work out with them is, okay, you've had so many leads, then you've had so many discovery calls, first conversations, and you've got so many people to a presentation. All of a sudden, you're starting to get the conversion rates, right?
Yeah.
Their conversion rates. And what you do is you work with them to improve their conversion rates.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then if they buck about that in any way, shape or form, just simply say, I'm sure I'm using you as an example. I hope you don't mind, okay? Because you're new. But if they buck about that, you simply say, Sean, let me go back again. Tell me, how much do you want to make in this business? What is it again? Because all I'm doing is help you get what you want. I'm not trying to tell you to earn X. I want to help you achieve what you set out to achieve. So you reinforce that with them. Okay, if that's really what it is, fine. Okay, boom. And you go back through the thing. Make sense? It's not complicated. It's really not complicated. But if you can get this right, guys, this is an integral step in terms of becoming a world-class sales culture, because that's what you want to do. And because when people join you, they're going to join something that is really rocking along. Okay, and there's an environment, an atmosphere of excitement and achievement going on. All right, and that is just as important as the training that's provided here, etc., because people can see it, feel it, and sense it. And you know what it's like. I mean, for example, when you go to an event, all right, and you always leave the event always on a high, right? And most of the time it's because of what you've been exposed to, right, when you're there. Well, in your own way, you should be trying to do that on a daily basis. Not at the same level, of course, right? But you do it on a daily basis. And the way to achieve that is to make sure that people are on board and you hold them accountable for what they want in this world. And by doing that, you are showing them that you care. By doing that, you show them that you're interested. By doing that, you show that you really are there to help and support them.
I think the thing for me is I get on calls with team members and tend to set sort of action steps that we want to do, you know, maybe 3 or 4 set things that we're going to do, and we're going to catch up in, you know, 2-3 weeks time or whatever. But then a lot of people just don't do it, Peter, you know, and I don't want to be the guy who's messaging every day, the overcompensating leader. But at the same time, I want to see these guys get results, you know. I mean, some people, for example, you know, say that they're going to be starting and that they're ready to start, and 6 months, 8 months down the line, that they're no closer to starting. And I'm asking myself the question, and I'm asking them the question now, is like, do you actually want to do this, you know? And even certain people who've got started with products and then just been really buzzing, and just dropped off and seem to have lost complete and utter interest. And then you get on a call with them, the interest seems to be sparked up, you set some tasks to do, you check in with them and things, and then the same happens, just sort of dropping off, you know. What advice would you give for that syndrome, Peter?
That, unfortunately, Michael, is the harsh realities of life.
That's kind of what I figured, actually. Yeah.
You cannot make people do something that they're not prepared to do. Your time is too valuable. You can't do that, okay? You need to make a decision. And I'm saying fire them, but you need to make a decision of how much time you are going to spend with these people who are not prepared to help themselves.
You're completely right. You're completely right.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if they're, and we talked about this before, 70% of the people who join you are not going to use it as a business opportunity. They're going to do it just for the product itself, right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you can't turn those people around. That, I mean, and you shouldn't even try to. You make the opportunity available to them. They know where you are. You are there providing consistent support. But as a leader, you need to make them reach out to you rather than you reach out to them. In other words, if you keep following up and following up and following up and they're not taking anything, you are being perceived by them as going down in terms of your level of authority because you're chasing them.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what you want. You are losing your posture. You are losing your standing. And this applies to all of us, right? If you chase, then people are playing you by a string, okay? And they're not interested. They're not serious. And we just got to accept the fact that there are people like that. Quite a few of them, unfortunately, Michael. Quite a few, right? But that's why I said earlier to you, you need to go through a qualification process. How can you qualify? Is this person really what I want in my team? Okay? Is Sean who I really want? And I'm picking on you, Sean. Sorry. Is Sean really who I want in my team? And he looks good, okay, and he's got the good. And Josh said he dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's, etc., etc. But I'd be thinking, Sean, I'm not sure about you. I'm really not sure. Okay, tell me something. Convince me why I should be spending more time with you. I'd be asking that question straight out. Okay, what is it? What is it about this opportunity that really turns you on? And convince me, because I can help you if I know you're going to help yourself. If you're not prepared to help yourself, Sean, I can't either. But I'm here for you 110% if you are prepared to put into place and take the actions I share with you, because it works, and that's what I want you to do. Now, if he doesn't do it, Michael, well, then you've given it ethically, with integrity, you've given everything you got, and you can't do any more than that. And you've got to make a call thinking, okay. And I would say to them, look, here, by the way, one way to really stir Sean up, okay? I mean, I wasn't going to come, I'll do it anyway. One way to stir Sean up would be to say, hey, Sean, got any time next week? Okay, good. Let me see, what prospects have you got? Let's set up a 3-way call. I'll do all the work. You just sit and listen. And let me see if I can recruit someone for you, okay? Just an example, Mike, okay? I can recruit somebody for you. One, you're putting the pressure on Sean to come up with a name. Secondly, to set up a time that's suitable and convenient to you, as well as them, because it's got to be convenient to you, because it's your time. Then you do the call. And then if the person joins the organizer, and this is you're showing Sean how to do this, right? It's a 3-way call. If that person joins, then what you do is you spend time with that new person, not with Sean. You spend time with them to make sure they're a winner. Make sure they're a winner, right? And what you're doing is you're really putting Sean in his place. He is learning from you, but he also knows in order to get your time, he's got to perform. This new person's getting your time because they're performing. Mm-hmm. He's not getting your time because he's not performing. And you're not going to do it again, Sean, okay? I'm not going to do it again to you. This is how you do it, okay? Tell, show, do, try, okay? That's what it is, right? I'll show you how to do it. I hope you how to do it, but if you're not prepared to take it from there, then my time is not available to you anymore. Because I've got people in my team who I have to take care of, and they're expecting me to help them. So don't waste your time and my time. You have to be frank with them sometimes, Michael, all right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the last thing on this topic, because it's a key point, because you'll all come that. The last bit is this. Before you become too tough, you need to say to them, tell me this. Are you serious about this opportunity with the CEO movement?
I've said that to a few people today, actually.
Right. And if you are serious, tell me why. Why is it important to you? Help me understand this, because you are a bloody mystery to me. Help me understand, why is this important to you? And get them to tell you. And simply say, well, then what's missing? You told me the CEO movement is important to you because of X, Y, and Z. You told me you want to earn A, B, C, but you're not doing it. What's missing? And I've showed you what to do. So what's missing? Are you not being serious with me, or you're not being serious with yourself? Which one is it? Which one is it? Now, this is tough love, but Michael, your time is valuable, for goodness sake. You can't be wasting your time talking to people who won't get off their ass. Excuse the French. And sometimes you can shake them around by having a conversation like that, because it's showing that you care. It's showing them that you're interested. It's showing them that you are committed to them if they are prepared to get off their butt. Does that help?
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Cheers, Peter.
Okay. Peter or Dave. Hey, Dave, good to see you. Any questions? Oh, Peter, removing something is a valuable tool. If they're committed, they won't let that happen. Good point. Very good point. This is in a chat, yeah. Removing something is a valuable tool. Yeah, that's true. And the other one, by tracking this way, you can work out their weakness, help them improve. Correct. Very well said, Peter. Very well said. I agree with that. Also, join on calls or record them to learn where we went wrong. Correct. Now, by the way, in the Dropbox, and I got your email address. Thank you very much, Sean. In the Dropbox, as I'll just repeat again, one, you're going to get what your prospect is really thinking, which is the negative side. But it was just there to see the worst aspect. Secondly, a simple sales management process, which I want you to go through, because you all need to have some simple sales management tasks. I'm not calling you a sales manager, but you need these simple skills. It's the same as you need simple leadership skills. Because if you don't have a leadership skill in your body, no one's going to follow you, and they won't even accept the opportunity to go and watch a presentation. So you need these simple skills. And thirdly, creating a world-class sales culture. Those three will be in the Dropbox for you. And I've shared them because it's all part, and it's timely, that work around and support the stuff that you've done, Josh, in terms of the 30-day objective and the content creation stuff, all right? Because once you put all that together, I mean, the hardest thing is to keep this simple now, to try and keep it simple. So in terms of behaviors, because that was a superb question, Michael. In terms of behaviors, manage the behaviors that relate to what they need to do every day in order to achieve sales. Keep it simple. Okay? How many calls have they made? How many do they need to make this week in order to achieve their objective? Okay? And you can use that video again. It's in the Dropbox. So then it's their figures, not your figures. You're not saying, I need you to make 10 sales. All you need to know is how much income do they need. And you work reverse engineer backwards, right? Does that make sense? All right. And then you hold them accountable to that. And by the way, part of the process might be, and Peter, you made this point here, which is good. By tracking this way, you can work out their weakness and help them correct. What you may see that, for example, they're having 2 calls a day, for example, but they're not getting any one watching the presentation. There's no transition to a presentation. All right. In other words, the discovery calls are there, but for some reason people aren't accepting the offer to go to a presentation. So by tracking this, then you'll know. Well, tell me, what are you saying, Sean? At the end of the discovery call, what are you saying to people in terms of getting them to look at a presentation about the CEO movement? How are you wording it? Okay, and hear them out and say, look, why don't you? I suggest you try this approach, which we've done before in previous sessions, right? Why don't you do this? If I would, you, blah, 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 blah. All right? Does that make sense? I know I'm talking too much, but this is the passionate part of my topic because I've got to shut up a bit. Next. Peter, anything from you? Thank you for your contribution, by the way. Excellent. Anything else?
For me, everything's fine at the moment. Ish.
Oh, I missed that.
No, everything's fine at the moment. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. David?
Yes, Peter.
Any questions?
I would very much like to learn more about the calls because I feel comfortable with the messaging now, talking to people, but the next step is mastering the calls. I had one last night, but I feel I need to improve in this area, structuring what to say, because I find the problem with they very much want to know about the products, what you're selling, and obviously we're always told not to speak about what we're selling, just get them into CEO first. So
No. Don't talk about what you're selling until they watch the presentation.
Yeah.
Once they watch the presentation, by all means.
Yeah, no, he already watched it, and then we moved on to the booking a call. So we had a call and discussed it, and then I sent him a further video after the call about the product and the structure of the compensation, and I've left it as that for now.
Well, you know what? You probably gave him too much information. Because that compensation plan is pretty complicated.
Yeah.
And I would be, it seems to me that if you're doing that in response to what they're saying, they're actually putting you off. They're actually saying, tell me more about this. And all you need to say to them is, look, if you were the prospect, Dave, I'd be saying, David, look, I will give you all the information you need to know. But are you serious about this opportunity? Do you want to make money with it? If you want to make money with it, then you need to follow the steps they're going to give you. Okay? I mean, we're not talking about an arm and a leg investment here. We're talking about $75, not $10,000, right? Small investment for you to get your toe in the water. That's all we're talking about. So let's not complicate it by all this compensate. I'll give you all that information when you need to do it. You don't need it just now. All you need to know is, I'm going to show you how to start making money with this. Are you interested? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Because when people are asking you a series of questions, they want another video, and they're asking this and doing that, and they're seeing the presentation gives them all the information anyway. I mean, you've got to start asking yourself, David, are these people serious or not?
Yeah.
So be transparent with them. David, tell me something. I've given you all this information. Tell me the truth. And I don't mind. I just want a yes or a no. None of this maybe business, right? Just a yes or a no, because my time's important, and so is yours. I want to help you. I want you to achieve success. Tell me, are you in or you're out? That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
No maybes, yes or no. Because if you're in, you got me 100% to get you where you want to go. If you're out, I respect your decision. I wish you all the best.
Okay. That's where I think you talking about a three-way call would probably benefit me, learning the ropes of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's really no magic in this if you just keep things very simple. Once they've been through the presentation, then it's your right and your responsibility to answer any objections they may have. I accept that. But what you have to stop yourself from doing is overloading them with information, okay, before they've made a decision, because that'll stop them from making a decision. If they get more and more and more information, they're thinking, God, this is too damn bloody complicated. I can't do this. That's exactly what they'll think. So you just shut yourself in the foot. Okay? What you need to say is this. Look, you will learn as you go along. But what you need to understand is this. It's a very simple process. We have steps in place that will show you how to identify potential people for you, how to talk to them, and how to keep things very simple, and then let somebody else do the presentation on your behalf about the business opportunity. And then all you need to do then is to say, okay, are you ready to start? What's stopping you from making a decision? Okay. And if they keep putting up with various excuses, you can say, just like you're doing with me right now, then I've got to wonder whether you're serious about it.
Yeah.
I know it sounds, I'm not trying to be a smart ass. I'm just trying to be pragmatic, because your time is valuable, guys, right? And some of you are working a full-time job and doing this as well. And I mean, you can't stretch any more time out. You've got to maximize the opportunity of the time you've got. And sometimes that means, quote you, Peter, sometimes you've got to be cruel to be kind. I totally agree with that. Okay. But I would change the word. Sometimes you've got to be honest with them. Okay. To be totally supportive of them. Okay? Be honest, because if you're honest with them, then the least you should expect is for them to be honest with themselves as well. All right? We'll do a lot more on this, by the way. We'll do a lot more on the actual sales process, and in fact, if you wanted, we can do role plays and things, depending on how you feel about that. Okay? But just right now, we're doing is just putting the last parts of the foundation together. And all I'm trying to do in this session is the message I'm trying to give you is this. With the work that you've now received from Josh and Michael in relation to the 30-day objectives we've got, which is now clarifying to everybody, this is what they need to do and this is how they do it every day. What I'm asking you to do is to then manage the behavior, simple behaviors that be behind the scenes to make sure that happens. That's what I'm really trying to say to you, all right? Okay? And if they have an issue with the 30-day plan, tell them to get it out on the table. What's the problem? Okay? And you need to take them through the plan, because the plan is to help them so they know every day what they've got to do. Okay? And and I would say to them, be careful, be careful. This may sound a lot, but what we've done is try to give you the step-by-step each day to know what you need to do in order to make sure that you are comfortable. And if there's any bit of that you're not sure about, ask me. That's what I'm here for. Okay? Ask me. Because I want to make sure you know how to do it, because then you can teach somebody else how to do it. Because if we can't replicate it, then there's no point in doing it at all. Yeah? Questions? Okay. How's the story going? David and Peter, how's your story going?
I need to cut mine down. Mine's too long, so I just want to shorten it up a little bit. I felt it was quite good, but it's just too long at the minute. It was about 4 minutes, so I want to get it down to 2 minutes. Okay,
you're getting close. That's good. That's good, Dave. That's good. And by the way, Sean, do you know what we're talking about here? In other words, your story. The bottom line is this. Right. It's all part about building rapport with a prospect. Okay. And just for the sake of repetition, to make sure, your story is the way to open up with your prospect things that they may not have shared with you in the first place. By showing that you're vulnerable, by showing that you overcame adversity in the past, by showing them that you are prepared to be totally transparent with them, gives them the chance to open up back with you. Okay? And when you do that, then you simply, this is a transition then, because it's all part of the rapport building process, okay? The story is critically important, okay? And you ask permission, of course, can I share my why with you? Because people say, what do you do? That's not important. It's why I do it's the key thing. Let me share with you, Sean. This is really important. Do you mind if I share with you some thoughts about why I do what I do? Okay? Boom, 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 boom. Then at the end of it, you say, okay, any questions about that? Tell me something. If I gave you a presentation about what I do, would you look at it? Yes or no? All right, that's a transition to the presentation. Pretty darn simple, right? The closing, the sale bit, which is what David's been referring to, is work we'll do a lot of work on in the weeks to come. I haven't got there in our training program yet, right? Closing the sale and getting referrals and all that sort of stuff. We'll do that. But it's about, now, Michael said here, I had a guy on the Discovery call asking about tax, work permits, etc. Oh, he lives in Thailand, Michael, does he? Yeah, okay. Told him he actually had to be making some money before he needed all this. Good. Right on the button. Absolutely. Don't pay that. You know, I mean, I don't know if you pay any tax on no money. I don't think so. I agree. Okay. And by the way, be careful. Just because he knows that you're an expat living here and with a work permit, Michael, don't set yourself up as an expert, because you could get yourself shot in the foot there. Be careful. Okay. Be careful.
How do you mean, mate?
Don't give tax advice.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Or visa advice either.
I've had several people approach me asking for that, and I said, I can give you the business advice. When it comes to taxes and visas, you'll have to consult a professional. It's not my area of expertise.
Correct.
Yeah.
But what I'd say to them is this, but I will show you how to make tax your friend.
Okay.
Okay, because right now you're paying tax for whatever it is on some fixed income you've got. Let's look at you building a business where tax becomes your friend, not your enemy. Anyway, that's another. We'll talk about that later. All right. Anything else, guys?
What would you suggest in the meantime, Peter, if I do book some more calls, then probably see if Josh can jump on with me and do a three-way call?
Yeah. Would you mind doing that, Josh? Yeah. Okay.
No
Yeah.
problem, man.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that would be good. And I mean, let me ask. Can I ask you a question? I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot here, Dave, but in the interest of the session itself, on average, how many calls a week do you have?
Not many. I've only done one before myself. I had another one done last night, but I definitely need to. I need to learn some more. So I don't have any experience in that area, so that's where I want to learn now. I feel comfortable with messaging, but face to face and knowing the process, how to close it, is what I need to learn.
Well, remember, in a discovery call, you're not selling anything.
Yeah.
All you're doing, well, you are actually, you're selling a presentation. That's it. Nothing else, okay? So you go into the discovery call with a mindset that if you were my prospect, David, I'd be saying, I'm thinking, before I make the call to you, I do some pre-call planning in my head, and I just jot down some notes about what do I know about David, if anything, okay? How can I help him, if anything? Do I know anything more? Whatever it is. And I just put the word in big letters, H-E-L-P. And that's my mindset. So then I make the call to David. Okay? And when I'm making the call to you, David, the first thing I do before I even go about sharing my story with you is I set an agenda with you. David, look, we've got 15, 20 minutes. Is that correct? You confirm the time you've got together. Okay? Secondly, because by doing that, you are differentiating yourself from someone who's just trying to sell something, right? So then your second thing you say, put yourself at ease. Nothing's going to be sold to you, okay, at all. but I need to find out a little bit about you in order to decide whether, in fact, I can help you in any way, shape, or form. So this will be a 15-minute call, and during that time, you are the center of my attention. And I'll be asking you questions with your permission to find out where you are right now, where you want to be in the future, and what's stopping you from getting there. And how do we complete that gap between where you are now and where you want to be in the future? That's what I'll be taking you through. Do you feel comfortable with that, David? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm asking that permission. Then there's no magic in the questions. You simply say, okay, David, tell me, where do you want to be? Let's say 5 years from now, where do you want to be? What it's all about. And you get them to paint the picture to you. No, I want to be doing this. I want to earn this. I want to pay mum, whatever it is, okay? And each time, do you do them the courtesy? Do you mind if I just go through this, Joshua? I don't want to waste time. Do you mind? Yeah. I was going to do this later. Okay? Just say, look, do you mind? Do you mind, David? I'll just take notes on this because I want to make sure I remember this is important to me, okay? Because we've only got a short amount of time. So you ask permission to ask the question. You ask permission to take notes. What is that doing to the prospect? If I said that to you, how would you feel?
Happy.
Because I'm showing real interest in you, right?
Yeah.
Who's doing all the talking? You or me?
You.
The prospect. Yeah, right now I am doing what you did, right? I'm trying to teach you, not do it. Anyway, okay. So then you say, okay, so where do you want to be? More importantly, why is that important to you, David? Tell me more. Why is it important you earn 50,000? Why is it important to you that what's it going to do? What difference will it make to your lifestyle? Share with me. I'd really like to know. And you write down the exact words that they say. The exact words, right? And there may be 2 or 3 things. They could be whatever the desires are, etc. Right? So now say, okay, look, David, look, let me share this with you because you've got to keep it pretty quick. It's only 15 minutes, right? Tell me something. Am I right here that you want to earn X, Y, and Z because of A, B, and C? And you use their words. Am I correct? And did I understand you correctly? Okay. And the answer will be yeah. Fine. Okay. Now, where are you now? Let's look at where you are now, David. What's the issue where you are? What's the thing that's really pissing you off where you are right now? What is it? What's the problem where you are? I hate my boss. Okay, I've been passed over for promotion. I'm sick of the travel. I want more time with my family. But whatever it is, okay. Okay, fine. Thank you. I appreciate that. Once again, tell me something. This is important, right? And you give them back their words again. Did I get you right? A, B, and C, right? Fine. What's stopping you from going there to where you want to be? What have you tried? What's stopping you? Help me understand what's stopping you from doing it. They will probably never been asked that question before. Okay? So think about it, and they will stutter a fraction because you are then starting to dig very deep with them. You are starting to really get under their skin, and it's going to disturb them, and it'll be painful for them. Okay, very important you do that. But once you find out what it is, okay, then you know. Then you know. So then you say, okay, how important is it to you to do this? Blah, 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 blah. That's the process of the discovery call. And that's the reason why at the beginning of this discovery call, before you even do the agenda, you share your story. Otherwise, they will never let that come out. All right? So your story, thanks for the thing. Set the agenda, it's 15 minutes. Firstly, I want permission to share a story with you so you know why I'm here with you today. So you share your story, then you go, where do you want to go? Where are you now? What's the gap? What's stopping you from getting there? How important is it to you? Share that with me. Give them back their words. You just told me this is important to you because A, B, and C. Is that right? Is that truly right? Okay. You've given me A, B, and C. Which one's the most important? A, B, or C? Which one is it? And tell me why. So C is more important than A and B, right? Whatever it is, okay? Why is that, David? And you're pushing them. You're pushing them to get their words out. You're pushing them to share with you from their gut what is important to them, all right? Once they've got that out and you confirm back to them, you simply say, I now understand. I now understand. Firstly, thank you for your honesty, for sharing with me. Secondly, would you be interested if I could show you a way to solve your problem? Yes or no? Because it's their problem. They just shared it with you, right?
Yeah.
Would you be interested? Yeah. Okay. Well, if I gave you access to a presentation that would really help you solve that problem, would you watch it? Yes or no?
What if you've already been through this process? Because I do a lot of that through messaging, then send them once I've found out what they want, and then I ask them how they'd feel when they've achieved it. Then I ask them if I can share a video of them. Then they watch the presentation, and then after I try to get on a call. That's the way I work.
Well, David, let me share with you. You cannot achieve that via Messenger. There is no way you can achieve that via Messenger. There's no way you can actually get people to open up from their heart fully on Messenger. Can't do that. It won't work.
Okay.
You're pushing the proverbial up a hill, right? You can't do that. You need to talk to them. You need to get on a call with them. You need to say, look, David, we'd be messaging backwards and forwards here. I'm interested in trying to help you if you're interested in trying to help yourself. Okay? Can we have a 15-minute call? I'll send you my calendar link and we can chat about it and we'll find out whether in fact I can help you achieve whatever you want to achieve. You will be you're the center of attention. You're the purpose of things. Okay? You can't do it with Messenger. You really can't. Messenger sets up the opportunity to talk. But there's going to be, don't expect the bot to do all the work for you. There's going to be a time when, because it's really clever, it's a very clever process, but it cannot replace the human personal touch. You can't do that. And that's probably why you're getting people reacting, because they haven't really opened up to you. They haven't really given you from their heart what's going on with them. They've just been typing messages back to you. And there's no emotion involved in that.
So would you say do the discovery call, then send them the web class as?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, don't do it the other way around, because otherwise you're going to be wasting opportunities.
Okay.
Peter, you've shown your vulnerability in your story, gives them more chance of sharing their pain points with you if you ask and coach there. Correct. Peter, that's quite true. It is sometimes easier to speak to a stranger. I'm just quoting what Pete's got in the chat. Interesting thing is, however, if you share your story and show that you are vulnerable, it'll shock them, because very few people expect it. They're expecting you to sell them something, right? And you're not going to sell them anything. What you're doing is you're showing genuine interest in them. And that's the strength of this, because behind you, you know you've got a darn good product in the CEO movement, but you hold it back to find out whether they're the right prospect. Are they the right person? Okay. And if they are, fine. If I, would you, with the presentation. Make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
That help?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
I'm happy with that.
Mine's just, and I think a lot of the guys will take from this as well, what's the best way to get more people on calls? Like, I just have seemingly dried up in that front.
What are your main prospecting sources, Joshua?
Mainly Facebook right now.
Be more specific.
So I'm still running ads, but the ads are going to the messenger bot. And also I'm doing quite a lot of organic outreach and speaking to people from a personal Facebook too. So is it just a numbers game, I'm guessing? In
a way it is a numbers game, but at the same time, I mean, when you do your Facebook Lives, are you getting any feedback from them?
Yeah, pretty good engagement. I have good conversations as well, but then it's the part where it breaks down is the planning part, in terms of like, hey, do you want to get on a call? They agree, and then I either send a Calendly link, get their permission to do so, and then kind of just stops.
So they're not serious.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking as well.
I don't know. I mean, that was the top of my head thinking. But the bottom line is this: if I would send a calendar link to somebody if they have convinced you that they're worth it.
Yeah, true.
Okay. So in other words, you've got to stop yourself from chasing and turn around and get them coming back for you. In other words, get them to perceive that if I can get hold of Josh, if I can just grab a few minutes of his time, just maybe he can help me. That's what you've got to do. That's the mindset that you've got to have, right? So that's why I said earlier to you, David, you can't achieve all of this just via Messenger alone, okay? But if you're doing it in the Messenger, I would simply say, and if it was you, Josh, I would say, Josh, look, I don't want to waste your time and my time. How serious are you? In the message before that, how serious are you about this? Convince me that you are serious. Be straight out, convince me. And they might come back and say, what do you mean? And you simply say this: if I send you a calendar link, I do not want you to ignore it. I'm prepared to share my time with you. Okay? Are you prepared to honor that, yes or no? Okay? So what you're doing is you're qualifying or disqualifying them before you send the calendar link. And by the way, if you do it that way, most people have not had that type of conversation before because you're being brutally open and honest with them, right? You're really being honest with them. And if they are going to play games with you, okay, and if they, I mean, let's take the worst case scenario, Joshua. You say, look, if you're really serious, then I would send you a calendar link, but I don't want to waste your time and mine. If I send you the link, are you prepared to honor the time I'm prepared to give you? It costs you nothing. Yes or no? Okay. If they say yes, and you send the calendar link, and there is no reaction, I would follow that by saying, I have waited 48 hours, Joshua. Obviously, your level of ethics and mine are not the same. I wish you well.
Would you be able to write some examples down for us, Peter? Because after what you've said to me, it's like I've been doing things back to front. So I definitely want to do your approach straight away and get the call first.
Well, Joshua, if you work with Joshua, he knows it. He knows my stuff inside out. We spent many months together doing this, right? So yeah. So by all means, I'm not saying I won't help you, David, but I'm simply saying I want to keep things in perspective. I think you should be working with Joshua or Michael, okay, in that regard. Yeah. Does that make sense? And by the way, I'm more than happy to share as well. And what I will do is in future sessions, I will run more like this if you think this is helpful. Okay, happy to do that. Peter, they have 15 minutes of your time to convince them that you can help me. Absolutely, Peter. Yeah, that's the mindset. Correct. Okay, convince me that you're worth my time. I mean, now it sounds arrogant, right, when you think about it, but they don't expect it. You haven't got to say it that way, but I was in a bit naughty there. But by the same token, you put it this way: people like to do business with people who are busy and successful. They don't want to do business with people who've got all the time in the world. Okay, but if you're busy and you're going to say, I can probably squeeze you in. Okay, I can probably squeeze you in if you are prepared to honor the time I'm about to share with you. If you are, then I will be delighted to see what we can do together for you to help you. Okay, that's the sort of thing. So to finish with, David, just back to you, to finish with, because it was your question, which is a critical question, and I'm not sure about Sean. Sean, have you made any sales yet? No sales? Have you had any sales conversations yet?
Yeah, I've been speaking to leads for like the last 5 or 6 days, maybe 2 weeks. But
I'll come back to you, David. What have you been saying to them?
Just general conversation, really. I haven't really sent the class to anyone yet. Speaking
When you're
about
saying conversations, you're talking about written conversation or verbal ones?
written so far,
Okay. So in that conversation, what's your objective?
just to create an interest in what I'm doing, really. Because I've been just preparing them for the launch that we're doing on Sunday.
I understand that, but they're not the slightest bit interested in what you're doing.
Yeah.
What they're interested in is, can you help them? They don't care about the CEO movement, okay? They don't want to know about that. They want to know, can you help them? You won't know whether you can help them unless they're prepared to open up to you. All right?
Yeah.
So please, if you're doing your messaging to try and convince them to come to a CEO presentation, you're thinking about you. You're not thinking about them at all. It's all you. And that's exactly how they're going to perceive it, whether it's in written format or verbal format. That's exactly how it'll be perceived. You need to reverse that, Sean. You need to be getting them to understand that you are prepared to share some time with them to see whether, in fact, you can help them with whatever they're trying to do. But more important, that you're genuinely interested in knowing about them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, completely.
All right. Okay, I think I might get off my pedestal a bit here. I'll shut up.
No, it's good. I need to know this.
These are tactics I use when dealing with business clients. They respond to it worded right. Yeah. In fact, Peter's, I'm referring to a comment in the chat there. They're not tactics when business client. This isn't a mindset you can approach with anybody. With anybody. All right? And at the end of the day, Peter, the key issue is this, that you are in a position to help people who are prepared to help themselves. Okay? But you won't know that until they open up to you. And they don't trust you, they don't like you right from the word go, because it doesn't matter what you put in messages, right? This is why you're finding, when you're finding people who are, you're doing messages with them and all of a sudden you send the calendar link and nothing happens because they didn't buy into you. It's all words, nothing real. It's all bullshit, to be quite frank, right? This is being polite. And you didn't really rock their boat. You didn't really upset them. You didn't really stir them up to a point when you opened them up and got them vulnerable. And that's, I'm finishing by saying, that's why it's important you get the chance to share some thoughts with them about your story that completely reverses it. That's the whole point of it. Your story is the most essential marketing tool you will have. If you get that story right, then getting the sale is pretty darn simple because you're just helping them get what they want. But you won't know what they want unless they're prepared to open up to you. And the only way they're going to open up to you is by you sharing a story and being vulnerable with them and then being prepared to listen and ask questions to identify where they are now, where they want to go, and what's stopping them from getting there. That's the discovery call. It's not rocket science. And you don't script it all out. Just have a mindset of being helpful. And once you've done your story over a couple of minutes, okay, after that, they're doing all the talking. And you're just guiding them along by questions. Tell me more. Tell me more, Peter. That's interesting. Yeah. So is this, why is this important to you? Okay. Okay. Do you mind if I take the notes down? Blah, blah, blah. I've said all this before, right? And so you're showing real, genuine interest in them. And once you do that, then you're positioned. Remember I said in the sales process, you are positioning yourself. You are positioning yourself to get a far higher conversion rate because people feel obliged to you because you've spent your valuable time and told them the bloody truth. That's the point of it. And you can't do that via messenger. Impossible. I don't care if you're Shakespeare with a great wordsmith, you can't do it. Okay. All right, yeah, David, got to go, yeah. Anyway, that okay, Josh? Is that enough for now?
Yeah, it's really good, Peter. Took a lot of value, and I'm sure the guys did as well. So thank you as always.
Okay, now look, next week I can't join you. I'm doing a visa run. Okay, I've got to leave the country and do that stuff, but I'll be back in a fortnight. But in the meantime, I will, if you can send me the video, Josh, when you get a chance of the session, okay? Because I just want to check to make sure what I've done with you. I just use that. And the other thing is this: if there is something you would like in specific for me to do, I mean, I make it really specific, then I'm prepared to do a session on that as well.
Okay.
Whatever area that's concerning you, okay? Look at the sales process. Do me a favor. Please just spend 15 minutes and go through the stuff I'm going to put in Dropbox for you. Just go through it so you know what's there. I'm not going to test you on it. I just want you to know it's there, and it's resources you can come back to, but it also will give you some context of the why I've been having this conversation with you.
Perfect.
Right?
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay. I've got to go, guys. I've got to run another session.
Thank you very much,
Okay.
Peter. Cheers, guys.
So much.
See you later.
Cheers now.
Peace.